Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Newsbrowse News broadcast. According to UPI, global oil prices saw a significant rise on Monday, climbing above the $100 per barrel threshold. Brent crude futures jumped 7% to $102, while West Texas Intermediate crude increased 7.8% to $124. This surge follows President Donald Trump's announcement of a U.S. blockade on the Strait of Hormuz, a critical waterway for global oil shipments. The blockade was declared after negotiations with Iran, led by Vice President J.D. Vance, failed to yield a resolution. U.S. Central Command stated that naval forces would restrict all maritime traffic entering and exiting Iranian ports from Monday 10 a.m. EST, clarifying that transit to non-Iranian ports would not be impeded. The geopolitical tension immediately impacted markets, with U.S. stocks opening down 1%. Average U.S. gas prices are currently $4.15 per gallon, nearly $1 higher than last year, and diesel prices are $5.68 per gallon. Mohammad Baghar Ghalibaf, Iran's Speaker of Parliament, warned that the U.S. blockade would make Americans nostalgic for $4 to $5 gas. This development comes after seaborne traffic on the Strait of Hormuz had been largely halted since U.S. and Israeli strikes on Iran on February 28, with a brief failed ceasefire agreement last week. CBS News reports that U.S. island territories in the western Pacific Ocean, including Guam and the Marianas, are bracing for Super Typhoon Sinlaku, the strongest storm of 2026 so far. Expected to bring destructive winds of up to 175 miles per hour and widespread flooding over the next 48 hours, the typhoon stabilized after peaking at 180 miles per hour on Sunday. Although forecasts indicate some weakening before it crosses near Tinian and Saipan on Tuesday, it could still arrive with winds equivalent to a Category 4 or 5 hurricane. Typhoon warnings are active for Rota, Tinian, and Saipan, while tropical storm warnings cover Guam, Pagan, and Alamagan. Officials advise residents to remain indoors and out of the water, as tropical storm force winds are anticipated for Guam between Monday night and Wednesday. The Marianas Archipelago, about 1,500 miles east of the Philippines, hosts 3 U.S. military bases. A public inquiry in the UK has concluded that a horrific knife attack on July 29, 2024, that killed 3 young girls and wounded 10 others at a Taylor Swift-themed dance event in Southport could have been and should have been prevented. The attacker, 17-year-old Axel Rudakubana, was known to multiple public agencies, including police, social services, and mental health services. But these agencies failed to act with the cohesion, urgency, or clarity required. Just days before the killings, clinicians assessed Rudakubana as posing no risk to others. The inquiry highlighted systemic failures in information sharing and accused institutions of repeatedly passing the risk to others. The attack also sparked 6 days of anti-immigration riots nationwide, fueled by false social media rumors amplified by far-right figures. Rudakubana pleaded guilty to murder and terrorism-related offenses and is serving a sentence of at least 52 years. This report is from CBS News. UPI reports that an airstrike conducted by the Nigerian military on a market in northeast Nigeria, near the border of Borno and Yobe states, resulted in the deaths of more than 50 people. Local authorities and human rights organizations, including Amnesty International, suggest the death toll could be significantly higher, possibly around 100 to 200. The military stated its target was an abandoned village, Jili, known as a major terrorist movement corridor and logistics hub for Islamic State West Africa Province terrorists and their collaborators, claiming to have killed scores of terrorists. However, local sources contend that Jilly hosts a popular weekly market and was not abandoned, with most casualties being civilians. The Nigerian Air Force has launched a fact-finding mission into the allegations. This incident occurs amid a surge in political violence in the region, with ongoing conflicts between Boko Haram and Islamic State West Africa Province. The U.S. State Department has issued a travel warning for Nigeria, citing deteriorating security, though U.S. forces were not involved in the planning or execution of this particular operation. That's all for this video. Thank you for watching. See you in the next video.